Shock as their mid.
Why I think Razor and Monkey King is because they're the most versatile as well.
Yeah.
You have that flex option with them too.
Yeah, but then again, you think about Void Spirit as a hero. Do you care that much that you are in a very bad lane matchup? Is that going to ruin your game so much that you cannot do what you're supposed to do?
That's the thing. The question is so much. How much is that?
Yeah.
If you have a Visage on mid lane, perhaps, let's say, and if you delay his level 6 for, let's say, 45 seconds to a minute, it's not horrible. If you delay his ulti for 2 minutes, he does nothing in the game. So it's... I don't know. Like, the question is, the hero is still fairly new to the competitive scene. How hard you have to crush him so that he doesn't really perform?
But what you do know is about the win rate of A, right? You told me it was, what, 80% right now?
Ancient Apparition, 80%,
yeah.
and also picked the most in the tournament. So, picked the most times and also has the highest win rate.
Okay, so the bans have been significantly changed. They banned Tiny this time, they banned AA. Mars wasn't banned, was it banned the last game?
I don't think so, no.
Mars was
so
not
all the
touched
3
in
bans
draft
are
last game.
different.
Yeah, it was Enchantress that was banned out.
So this has confirmed first game was a total experiment.
All right, change things up, man. And it looks like Boom are going to have the choice, but it looks like the Void Spirit is still going to be on the table going into the first phase.
Yeah,
So maybe we find out if that theory is true, winner.
Yeah, and this time the sides are switched. I mean the pick order. So Gambit is first pick this time.
There's
Okay.
Oracle in the pool, there's Abaddon in the pool.
LC.
Abaddon, Oracle instantly picked up. And Troll.
Okay.
Troll is one
Oracle
thing they
Troll,
banned. Yeah.
wow.
And it's such a great combo to pick straight
Yeah,
up.
that ulti interaction with False Promise is just as potent as ever.
Oh, is that... Oh. That looked like a bounty hunter on
Yeah,
the screen, right?
that portrait looked really funny. Okay. And I think maybe this is the response to leaving Void Spirit in the pool as well as potentially playing well against the Troll.
This means that most likely the win condition will be on mid lane or for Boom as well. On mid. I'm not sure. I mean, sure you can be the win condition. You buy Battlefield, you farm, but you're against a Razor and you're being picked at this junction. When you pick a carry at this junction, you have to make sure, no matter what happens in the game.
They still ban. Look at this though. After the Razor pick, they still ban the Void Spirit.
So his other replacements will be Kanka. We've seen Kanka.
Right.
Kanka is like a hero that you can move around and do stuff, but he's not exactly a win condition. The other hero that they picked with Troll was the TA.
Yeah, and you can't pick that anymore into the Razor, right?
Yep. And that's also a bad rider. It's very annoying for you.
Yep, that's why I like the Razor pick so much. Is it gives you 2 heroes that play really well against the Troll, against the lineups that Boom have structured around a Troll.
Yeah, he's gonna be playing some weird, like something out of the blue. Yeah, Queen of Pain was also the other one because of the Razor.
They ban out the Queen of Pain instantly.
Well, yeah, you ban out the two big mobility mids, right?
Yeah. There's still Puck, which I know both of you are not a fan of, and he's not exactly like a win condition hero.
It's just a lot of teams feel like they've lost confidence playing around the Puck in the mid.
SF Troll.
Yeah, SF can be a win condition.
It's good. It can be pretty good for you, and it doesn't have to necessarily fill that full win condition. It can kind of share.
You can share with the Troll. These are the kind of games where I always feel like, sure, you can try to balance it out in the draft, but can the players balance
it out in the
game? That's the difficult part, you know.
But let's talk about that 4-position matchup because that was so crucial in the last draft, and that's something that we'll more than likely see factoring in the 3rd and 4th picks.
Shaker?
What do you think we're looking at? Yeah, Shaker. Earth Spirit's really fallen out of favor recently.
There's Rubik. Rubik is always...
and that's an Excess Vampire special.
You probably wouldn't say it's a bad Rubik game most of the time. You'd be somewhat useful.
I think it's kind of bad.
Probably Earthshaker and Rubik, one each.
I really like Oracle versus position 4 Rubik because of the Fate Bolt and Purge, right? On the lane, your carry isn't going to carry. You can just purge it off of him.
So I want to see a hero that Excess Vampire was destroying on early in the season come back at some point in this tournament. That's his Tusk. He was for stretches of this season looked like the best Tusk in Pro Dota.
It's great, but I think you have to combo it with something.
Absolutely.
That's also very impressive.
It's nice to have a save against the Troll, the Troll ulti. So I think the snowball could be useful here.
They knew that the Troll is coming. They banned it out in the first banning stage of that last game. This time they leave it go through, and I'm pretty sure they have an answer to it. Is Razor enough of an answer though? I don't think so.
So that's going to give them their catch on the disruptor.
Gives them their catch, but it's also, there's the Earthshaker at the 4 position. It also leaves fairly squishy supports, right? If Gambit can get into the backline against this Boom squad, you do have the Oracle save to play around, but I don't see that much protection if they go on the Oracle.
So if they have a Spectre, you can just kill the Oracle.
Yep.
You would like to see those kind of carries that can go to the backline.
Well,
I mean, against
go right back to the Ricky,
against
I guess.
Troll, that's Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky is
Ricky's
alright,
decent.
actually. I don't mind it at
Slug
all.
is okay also against Troll. The matchup is good, call-to-call matchup.
Yeah, Slark, I'd like to see at least one more hero that I could build up stacks against.
How many times did they play offlane bat?
Gambit?
Gambit?
Oh, many. That's
I mean,
usually when
in-
they're running bat.
In these last...
You know, over the patch,
tournaments.
Shotslow's 4-3 on the hero. FN is 3-0, so that's okay.
Okay, so,
So it's almost
only,
all offlane,
yeah,
yeah,
because
all
So
FN was
they have never played
standing in.
support
Yeah,
Barrier.
FN was standing in. They
They've
have
never
not
played-
played support bat right over the last 2
Yeah.
patches. Yeah.
So you're gonna have this combination of...
There, by the way, is if you were thinking about Slark, there's the other hero that I want to see. I want to see a hero like Centaur that I can build up those stacks on in fights. I do want to see, though, a mobility carry right
You
now
could
for
still
Gambit.
put Razor safe lane now and
And- okay,
answer
okay.
something
Well, and
else
pick a
with it.
Shadow Fiend mid. They could also go for a Shadow Fiend.
They could. I don't.
It's tough, though.
I don't like that combo of cores. That's
Shadow Fiend plus they're like the same kind of
Yeah.
hero, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And let's see what they go for. This is your FNG hero most likely right now going to be picked.
Yeah, you expect to see that 5 position.
It might give away a lot though. When they pick that, it might tell us a lot about what they're planning to do in the end. It feels like right now they don't have any utility if you look at these 3 heroes.
There are 2 heroes that FNG still plays in the 5 position that most other teams aren't running. That's Venge and Tree.
Trian. Trian is...
Venge would be really good. If you're thinking about Aghanims on Disruptor, some of these heroes that can swap you out of the Static Storm are really good.
You could also keep it simple and just go Lich. Lich is still on the board.
How about Shadow Demon?
Shadow Demon
No,
also pretty
Shadow
good.
Demon is way underpicked in my opinion.
Very good versus Centaur, very good versus Troll as well. You can
Gives you a save.
yeah, gives you a save, gives you also a reliable disable versus Troll once he pops that ulti.
But which one of those do you think sets them up best for that last pick? Because they have to show their overall last
they
pick
just
first.
go
They're
with the
going to go
more-
ahead. Oh boy.
Because they're worried about the carry getting banned.
Yeah.
Like I always mention at this junction, you're picking 2 in a row.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that the hero that you're not picking, he has replacements if it ever gets banned. And you want to pick the one that doesn't have replacements.
Also, what I really like about Morphling being picked here is its laning is very versatile. You can put him mid or safe lane. It doesn't really
Yes.
matter too much.
But
So
you have
can
to secure
respond.
his lane though, because Morphling is going to have a hard time if you don't help him enough in the beginning.
I mean, if he's mid on a good matchup,
But
he's
you
fine.
they don't have last pick, so they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
They have to...
Yeah, but
That-
that's what I mean.
They have a lot of
it
lane
doesn't matter.
flexibility, though.
They have this lane flexibility, right? That's,
Oh yeah,
that's my
that's true
point.
because of Razor. Razor can go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Exactly. So the 2 of them, they're free to roam.
But it has to be something very specific though, because Morphling is not as good as before if you put him in the mid lane.
Yeah.
It needs to be like something that cannot really touch you at all for it to be able to go mid. And I think their concern right now is just to make sure that they can come up with a tri-lane that will secure the Morph's lane.
With that build where you just max the waveform, don't go for adaptive strike at all, and just farm the creep waves around mid lane, I think you have a decent farm versus almost anything. But,
So the big box, though, that Boom has to worry about right now is they need a hero that's not just going to get absolutely destroyed by Razor on the mid lane.
They would love to have OD against the Morphling if they can.
Yeah, but okay, but you're satisfied with that OD versus Razor matchup if that comes to
The
fruition.
lane might not be the best, but it will give them a good win condition against the Morph.
does Mikoto play Lina?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
a hero that's pretty good here. Versus the Razor in the lane, I guess. If he approaches you,
Pretty
can
good
have a
against
save.
Morph in the game.
Versus Morph
Yeah.
later on, you have that
Yeah, that could be a
boom
good idea.
value. The only problem is, I
You
mean,
have
it's not
Alina.
really a problem, but
You have Alina.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alina, yeah, and she just they get on top of her and she dies.
They do have mobility to back her up, though. And
But-
save.
but you do-
Oracle and
Okay,
Centaur.
they're looking at the OD ban just as you guys were talking about.
You do share the burden with the troll a little bit in terms
Yeah.
of win condition.
I mean, you can say Troll, listen, guy, you're gonna be our win condition. Just go hard carry and that's it.
Do you think
you can build Troll?
I mean,
that
the
way.
Lina,
It's
the Lina could also go hard, like a right-click build. Like you
Yeah.
can go physical damage because most of the Linas, they tend to prefer to go for the magic build too much. I think sometimes it's better to go for right-click so you can actually be the tower damage or be the you're the second carry.
Are you worried about the lack of disable on Boom for the Morphling here? I mean, they have really no stuns other than it's pretty easy to waveform out of hoof.
Sorry, stuns. They have the Q from Oracle. They have stun from Centaur, Gleams.
I mean, yeah, they have catch, but they don't have traditional hard
Is that
disable.
plastic?
Ooh, boy.
But no, that's not what's picked.
Wait,
No,
wait,
that's,
what?
That's
It's
the,
ano- it's
how
another-
did that hero get through?
It's another C hero, but there you go.
How
the
did
Lina
Chen
pick.
get through?
Yeah.
So
Chen
that-
is a
the
game-winning pick.
lane securer. He's gonna secure the Morphling lane.
I don't believe we didn't see that. Oh
Wait,
my God.
I think what Boom should do right now is they probably is gonna have to try lane and contest the Morph, but Centaur is gonna have a difficult time against the Bat Rider if they do that. It's gonna be a trade-off. Who are they gonna screw over in the lane?
I don't know if that's the greatest idea to screw Centaur so hard over. Not only because Centaur is gonna have a bad game, but because Bat Rider is going to get those boots
But
of travel
Tro is gonna,
so early
but Tro
on.
is gonna bully the Morph.
Yeah, but the
You got-
moment
wait.
Bat Rider starts rotating, you're done in the after the laning
Is
stage.
it
But you
it
have
not
Oracle-
though
but
that
you have
Chen
Oracle.
wins you 2
You have
lanes
Oracle.
and it's GG? Doesn't Chen just win 2 lanes and it's GG?
I don't.
It's
I
so
don't-
hard.
If Boom loses the lanes, it's very hard. Like, but Gambit can still lose the lanes a little, like come out behind, maybe 6-4 in the lanes, but still be able to win the
I
game.
just want to see the mid lane because Lina, in theory, on paper,
You
works
will
really
beat-
well
you will
against
beat
Razor
Razor.
and Morphling. So whoever goes mid, Lina is fantastic versus him.
Okay.
Now it's on GPK to once again take this bad matchup and turn it into a
I
win.
love it. The 10K SEA superstar who's burst onto the scene against one of the stories of the DPC season in GPK. We're going to see who comes out in game 2 as Gambit tries to stay in the upper bracket. Tell us all about it. Toby, 1, and Kyle.
Oh, you know we will, Alan. We're going to talk so much. It's almost like it's a profession for us. Gambit, what a nice little pickup. Obviously, in the mindset of Alan, Chen, last pickup. And then boom. Also, the panel was leaning towards it, the Lina pickup for the mid.
Yeah, I like it.
Looking good, giving a really good matchup again.
I think more importantly for me at least is that it feels like Boom is just feeling themselves, right? They saw that first pick bat coming. They'd obviously prepped for it. They got the giggles going, and immediately the Oracle Troll. This is to me like the most important predictor of success. Is that if you're feeling good, if you've got faith in your draft and your teammates, you're just more likely to win. And perhaps the draft, in terms of late game win condition, would favor Gambit. That Morphling will inevitably become a problem. You gotta figure that Boom has that ability to get, like, they can still easily win this game. Like, Oracle Troll is sick. He's like 15 seconds of invulnerability on the hero. And Lina with a shaker, they have a couple supports. The only thing that might change things is that Chen pick that Alan's such a big fan of. Your support duo has a hard time dealing with creep harass and early push. So will you get run over by the army? That is the question.
That is a very good question, and yeah, you don't really have fantastic answers early on. Like it's actually got to be the most lackluster early level support combination we can see from Boom. Yeah, you got Disrupt the Thunderstrike, which was like for a long time it was like that powerhouse of like I can harass somebody out of the lane with this, but just how much work is that going to do? I'm also interested just how much success Shashlo is going to have on this hero. We asked him to have something that's going to be a little bit more active. We have definitely received. He has the Bat Rider, but does it work well in this game?
I'm not so sure. Tobes, a core Bat Rider against an Oracle never feels great, I gotta say. And this is partly why I think they won the opener pretty reliably. Hang on.
Nice Oracle.
Shaker, oof, just snatches it.
It's close, but it's fine. Shaker just wants to fishy block the wave anyway. He actually has to do it from the high ground. Oops. Missed him. Only was able to hold one back. That's actually just because of Oracle. Threw out the Fortune's End. Actually made him throw it from the high ground where he couldn't block him against trees. But yeah, looking towards the mid lane. That's what the panel wanted to see. And we see just how this matchup goes. GPK, can you make the lane matchup work? Mr. Static Link.
Actually got more on that link than I thought he would. Makoto definitely understands this matchup, and when you get the last pick against the Razor, it's why we don't typically see it picked up in the opener, right? Because if you're planning on going mid with it, it's very easy to just pick something like Alina that I'll have no problem. And without that laning advantage, Razor just does feel at times a little mediocre.
Yeah.
Bottom, this lane is the one to watch, I think. You want to be able to pressure Dream under tower if you can, like the first couple of levels. It gets a lot harder as he gets level 3, level 4. Courier, that's dead.
Radiant's courier.
That's not where FNG wanted to have that, but he's got a lot to micro. Not really, actually, not yet. I'm also liking this defensive ward that Boomer put next to the tier 1 tower in mid lane, just to the north of it.
It's the Shaker ward, right? We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because Shaker walked through and put his own observer ward down next to the outpost inside the Dire jungle. So there's a lot of information being given. A straight TP, like Makoto doesn't even delay it. That's quick, back to a good solid position, just wasting the time of the Earthshaker.
Nice job, gets both CS with that stun and the archer, my man. And yeah, as you said, they spotted that ward, so Keskin immediately drops a sentry, takes out what Shaker had just planted. And notably, bottom, I love what FBZ has been doing. He's just toggling that buckler on and off to try and mess with the Morph CS, and it's part of the reason Dream is still only at 4-1. Like, it's so annoying to deal with.
I think they want to try and do something about Shashlo. He's been creep skipping out. Like, obviously got a hell of a lot of levels, but no Firefly available. KezQ getting the body blocks on him. Got that early slow, so that helps out. And Shashlo so low on life, they need just one more attack, and they're going to get it in from the Oracle. And that will be first blood being spilled by mid lane. That's the bigger one. Nexus Vampire got the future block, and GPK utilizing that double damage from the bottom river.
Surprised Makoto got caught by that. He knew that there was a DD active on the Razor and just gets himself blocked, as you said.
But doesn't have an observer ward watching the bottom side. Like, they only have one watching the north, and that's where the vision of Gambit kind of pays off a little bit more.
I suppose, actually, wow, this lane's going a lot better for Razor than I expected. 15 and 8, yeah, this
versus
is...
the 8-2.
I thought this was going to be much more Lina favored, but so far so good. A big part of that, though, is GPK is doing a great job keeping lane control on his hill. He, if you keep it here, you can actually just crush the mid lane. If it's on Lina Hill, you can't really pressure or get a link off at all. Thanks for the line, Toby, just so everyone...
I'm here for you, man.
Keep it
for you. Another great fidget block. KezQ needs to help out somehow. But what do you do? What's the support here from an Oracle? He has to throw out the quick end, and GPK, a Fairy Fire, bottle charges. Makoto
like,
just running away, say, please attack me instead. Disruptor will arrive. He has a spare point if he wanted to glimpse, but they're not going to.
And I will say, this is that thing about Shaker that we've talked about a lot. When you play these two ranged, squishy, more 5-esque supports, you don't have that same late game impact with the blink and being strength, but
look at the TP out. Troll Warlord has to go back to the tier 2s. He had 5 sticky napalm stacks on him, and without the Oracle supporting him, he can't break him free.
Yeah, and Shaker, like, you just get so much more done in the early game, right? Only level 1, but you're forcing both supports to just camp mid to help out GPK, or Makoto rather.
It's like secure the runes, make sure he's got that, and
yeah, and top now, like, this is scary because Shaker now can look to rotate top with no Oracle there. That's an easy kill on Troll. He has 3 or 4 stacks on him.
Going all over again, another fissure block.
Sentry's down.
Yep, underneath the tower. You don't care if you're going to lose him.
Wait, did he ward in Sentry? Oh,
yeah, he
it denies the ward. What a beast.
Huge. Wow.
Gambit turning up.
Chen 19 pick.
Wow. This Chen, I will say the Chen pick, though, is Nas. It's already paying huge dividends. You can see, check out this jungle. FNG. He's got the wolf creep.
Wait, who was the person that actually said, like,
gonna finish off the smasher?
How you need to add an extra bar to the rankings, like, so it's not just core, support, mid, off. Like, you need a jungle role that's just for legions and prophets.
I'd love to identify those players so I could pre-report them in my games. I mean, that's one thing, gosh, I hope one day we have a report system that actually results in real punishments. It's very simple rules. Run down mid, ban 1 week. Run down mid again, ban 1 month. Run again, forever.
Thoughts on Smurfs? Considering a lot of top tier players actually have Smurfs and have publicly used them as well.
I mean, people also publicly boost accounts and then sell them. But, you know, until that gets changed, I'm not going to really worry about smurfing. In fact, I'd argue that people smurfing to then sell accounts is arguably the bigger problem. But
that's a whole different kettle of fish, right? Yeah, we're opening up the barrel. We'll let people like Alan
there's
debate
a lot
that.
of rotten fish in that barrel. But let's talk about what GPK's about to do. He's got some stacks up. He's controlling this bottom rune. He's got both sides. Misses that one, unfortunately, but he's got a triple on the other. Camp to his up left.
They're going to attempt this again over on Shashlo. Excess Vampire is going to get the perfect Fissure block, just keeping Dream away from the Bat Rider. Well, they drag the creep wave over too. And okay, Shashlo, maybe you overstayed your welcome. Just because one Fissure happened doesn't mean you get to survive this. They can glimpse him back all the way up to the top of the hill. And Shashlo will be brought down by, in fact, Kenpot, his second kill, having both of the ones from Boom ID.
It's a very passive game so far, but man, I swear, GPK, he's so farmed every single game, 43-17, and he still hasn't taken that huge stack up left. He's, again, top net worth, much like he was in the previous game, but and he's going to go for the more aggro build on this race with the Yule's first into what I can only imagine will be a BKB. I love that build, especially with the Shaker to play around.
And I love watching also on bottom lane, just a little side thing, like Morphling's like net worth is, he's actually 300 behind that of the Centaur, but when he's edged up and he tries attacking FBZ, he loses so much life with just his normal attacks. That's just a strength morph just to stand in the lane. You know, still so many heroes playing around this mid lane. Now, that's a good Fissure block. Kenpot, a little bit of trouble. You have to wait for it to end so he can walk away. Yeah, not going to happen.
That's a very ambitious Fairy Fire.
always hold on to belief.
I mean, so far, it's going pretty good for Gambit, but it's really Boom's timing when their supports hit 6 that they actually enter the game. Disruptor Oracle don't really accomplish much until then, and the Shaker has had more impact by himself than the two of them combined. Top lane, Dreamcell's in some danger here. I would have maybe liked an earlier point in Flame Break on the bat, but after they nerfed the burn to 2 seconds at level 1, I guess maybe the 1 point isn't as worth it anymore. Just for the bounce back, maybe you could have stun off it and hand the lasso.
Good rotation down the bottom lane. There's a Laguna Blade ready to go. FBZ just needs to get the aggression from Dream. Dream has already shown a couple of times he's very willing to waveform the wave. Just trying to push it back out again against the Centaur.
Yeah, this is a heads-up play by Dream. Now, there's no Lina showing. You got to be a little spooked. He's an experienced morph player. Oh, wait.
Now?
If only. If only.
You need to wait a little longer. There's no Observer Ward. There's nothing that actually scouts this one out. In fact, the obs they have down for Gambit right now is in front of Roshan. But this is still fine for Lina. I've seen her, like, she's been farming up triple stacks inside the jungle, prepped by those two supports that moved over. Now Stampede forward, ES very low on life, and Kenpot's got the nuke available to get the kill. So now Dream herself turns on the whirling axes, and with the nets, the holds, Shashlo can't escape either. And the Troll Warlord, oh my god, he's going Battle Fury build as well. I was wondering if he'd actually do, like, we've seen like diffusal blades and such.
I don't know how I feel about that one. Of all heroes in Dota, it's again one that can utilize Crystallis. I've had someone try and send me spreadsheets on the math about how Echo Saber is actually the best item on Troll. I don't know if I buy that, but I'm not a huge fan of the Battle Fury. I think like Diffusal, Crystallis, BKB in some order, you just end up more slot efficient and your overall damage output is higher. Plus, you really want to go late game against the Morph? You can, but it's going to require like that 4th, 5th item and a slight edge in the net worth department. You're also playing against a Razor. Just going to link you. I think fighting earlier might be better, but we shall see if this pays off. Already a mech on FNG, by the way.
They're smoking, they're coming. They want to try and have a battle for the runes. Making sure the outpost is secured, but Shashlo, can they get close enough to him?
He knows the spidey senses.
Yep.
I like that. Just retreating back to the high ground.
Ends up just being a 2-for-2 trade-off. Centaur's actually the one who has to start his TP. He cancels it, realizing the Morphling was right next to him and the damage from the Razor. I don't know if he actually needed to cancel it. The Morphling doesn't have a stun.
Yeah, but he can't know that.
Yeah.
He could have technically switched into the Centaur and then stunned him, but you are... I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's true. He does have that.
Oh, the FNG with a mech wraparound. Literally naked mech. but with a wolf creep
That's how
and
Chen's,
heal up. Yep.
that is how Chen's run.
And this is how you do it. And you just provide the auras. Help your team stay alive up top. Troll ult. Oh, gotta be careful. Oh,
Trying
goodness.
to have a crack at Charlotte. Dream's going to arrive. Well, he acts as he does strength morph his way through this. Where's the extra support? It's coming in actually from ES. But thanks to Stampede. Troll Warlord going to get back to the tier 1 tower. Still got a lot of sticky napalm charges on it, but no Firefly available for the Bat Rider to keep the chase going.
Yeah, really well done. They forced the TPs, though. That's so heads up by Gambit. You can tell. They were a little off in that last game, missed their timing pretty hard, but they're a formidable lineup. And I like that they pursue just enough to force the reaction and then right away turn around. Bot's already up on Shacklow. He's just going to continue to try and cut waves, farm, accelerate. Makes it very annoying for Troll because you can't really chase him down, as we just witnessed there. And bottom, FBZ, I'm going to try and push this tier 1. Should be able to grab it, no problem. You have a Disruptor ulti. You never want to TP into that. That's a sure way to just lose. But they trade off mid-tower for it. I don't know if that's worth.
Mid and top for just the bottom tower. And Morphling's getting free space up on the top lane. Top 2 net worths are the Razor and the Morphling by quite a decent margin.
We've already got a Yules up on the Razor. It will be the BKB next item. I like this choice. Gambit's mid-game is going to be so powerful, and you're not really on the same sort of clock either because you have a Morph who, with Wolf Creep with Yasha, he's hitting for 200 plus. It's 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering too, like how FBZ would try and itemize. Like how does he try and keep his team alive aura-wise? Like Boomer played this Centaur once before, and in fact, that was against Asta, I believe it was, and he went Blink first. They tried to get him being aggressive. Didn't work. Gambit's going to take the tier 2 tower up on the top.
Look at the map. It's huge now for them. Vampires moving forwards. This feels like Makoto just been shut down.
Well, Laguna Blade out, and ES down.
It's a level 5 Shaker, and it's like if he has any support there, he's just going to survive. Bottom lane, you have a hood up on the Centaur, but he's still a ways away from the Blink Dagger. And once again, I liked it. Still sort of do, but these double support duos, right? The Oracle Disruptors, the Rubik Disruptors or Liches or what have you. It just feels underwhelming, and especially in games when you fall behind. You just can't get into the action. And yeah, sure, you know, Earthshaker's died a couple of times, but inevitably he'll have a Blink Dagger and be very useful.
Yeah.
And he already has, just by securing rotations and positioning on the map.
Yeah, but I'm also remembering like a lot of the games we've seen already from Oracle during this tournament. Like you get your one jump and you think you're good, but one man that can just stand and fight. If you're able to make it the Troll Warlord, if he can be this big beast, and maybe this is the reason why you're looking at the Battle Fury as well. Like you just want him to be that 40-minute uncontrollable beast where the Disruptor as well as the Oracle is just like, I'm going to keep this guy alive. Everyone else do your own thing.
That's assuming Gambit don't apply the pressure, but this game's different. They're going to have a blink on Bat in about 4 or 5 minutes. You have a Chen. You have a Razor with Yules going straight BKB after, and Dream with the Yasha E-Blade. You just blow up this Oracle. You run at it with the Creep Army. The Battle Fury is nice, but without a BKB, if Dream Assault runs in, gets linked into Yules, that's it. He's done for. And meanwhile, the rest of Gambit can focus on the support duos or the Lina. After that, where's the damage?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is also like if the pressure isn't enough. Like right now,
I would say if Gambit doesn't apply the pressure, but I have to believe they've learned from that previous game, and they're going to use this smoke that FNG's got in his pocket quite soon. Or perhaps you just go down bottom and push, right? Top, you've got a ward, you've already killed both structures, so in theory, you just shove down bottom. It's not really like there's any D push up yet for Boom, and they've seen the Demon Edge. They know Troll isn't looking to fight.
He's looking to keep that farm. They're trying to keep also a little bit of extra control of the Dire jungle, but the one observer ward that got planted down by Gambit is actually in such a fun position, just south of the normal hill they like to use, so it's not going to get dewarded. No one's putting a ward, a sentry down for that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I think. Yeah, you're right.
It's all out of range. Everything is out of range. So the Blink Dagger for FBZ might be an interesting go time as well for Boom. Like we saw this in game one, like when are you ready to fight? Like what's going to be that timing when they then want to get on the front lines? You do have Disrupt the Storm up, you've got your False Promise, Stampede escape in and out. Like there's a lot of things for Boom to work with, and if they have that confidence from game one, that outplay ability that we have seen from them against Gambit, like they just need something that's going to give them the confidence to jump, and that's going to be the Blink Dagger for the Centaur. And he's getting closer. He's at 1800 right now.
the support shaker of Excess Vampire with 0 kills is about to pick his up. When your
Yes.
4 is beating your 3, you're never really feeling great. And look at the positioning they have as well. Shacklow's just straight up stealing camps. Grabs a Van Brace for his trouble. Although,
yeah,
oh, no.
no.
Oh, no.
Hey,
like this.
I'm meant to be able to fly. Why can't I glide? Can there be a glide function on this one? Kezcute just lost his courier. Oh, Dreamer Cell so close.
I want it.
Walk up the ramp. Walk up the ramp.
No, don't walk up the ramp. That's a bad. He's gonna drag him to the high ground himself.
1 second to Firefly.
Oh goodness.
Now the whirling axis.
He just
But
puts him on the-
Lasso
what are you doing?
Puts him on the hill. Puts
Keep
him
him-
over the
what?
hill. No, back up on the hill. Centaur's going to be nearby. Stampede forward. Disruptor in the neighborhood can get the ball as well as the Storm out. Shashlo as well as FNG. They're both caught inside of this one. And they're both going to go down with Lina rotating so quickly in. Oh boy.
Such a strange sequence of events. There's no any that happens if the bat doesn't get the neutral item drop. And then, you know, it's so tempting. He's like, wow, Troll's just running at me. I gotta put him on the high ground. Let's try and kill him, guys. But the rest of Boom has showed up. And the double stun, double disruptor ult combo lands 2 kills. But a lot of space for Dream there, a lot of space for GPK. Both these players just farming up.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much Blink Dagger now for Centaur. Like, you just got that fight without actually having to have the Blink Dagger. That for me like spells the trouble, because this is gonna be the big test for Gambit. If they can weather the next 2 engagements from Boom and have an even trade-off or a slightly bad trade themselves, I'm gonna be more down your line of Gambit's looking good.
I will say though, I don't know what the hell happened to Shacklow's game. He is 0-4-0.
BT's first and nothing else after.
And just, yeah, he's just not having the game impact you would hope for. It is a difficult matchup though, right? You're playing against an Oracle, so it's definitely easier said than done to have something to make things happen. Morph almost at that E-Blade. They might look to hunt middle, but the Blink Dagger is prepared.
It's the Centaur.
Hello, Chen.
Observer Ward gets planted down, same with the Sentry, but...
Blink on Shaker.
Yeah, and they're going to flag the fact that something went up there. So you know a Sentry Ward will be coming out sometime soon from Boom.
I will say, I've seen this bot's first build on Batrider a few times. I think it's much better when you're ahead and you don't have as much threat. But in a game like this, it just feels like now, you know, you want to blink desperately. Otherwise, you're just a creep farmer. And
but
even then, you're playing against Oracle.
It's just that crazy movement speed, right? And now they're able to at least get one catch out. They'll be Disruptor all the way down south. But Boom is still farming up. Remember that Battle Fury is completed over on the Troll Warlord. His farm is going to escalate.
Yeah, you can see by the talent stream went for, he kind of understands his role here. Going for the waveform range over the agility level 10, because his job is going to be to E-Blade blast this Oracle, the Lina, the Disruptor, kill one of these squishies. The rest of your team then free to do as they please. GPK, all you've got to do is get a link on this Troll, who, as you said, don't know if I agree with the Battle Fury, but in 20 minutes, all of a sudden, he'll look like a genius, because this Troll will skyrocket to the top of the net worth charts.
They're going to go for the
instead
Lina.
of 4. Got him.
Echo Slam, Blink Reveal. Lina needs a little bit more time, so defensively Yule Scepter up, but now Centaur gets his own hoof stop off. They've got to keep the Razor up in the air, and Volley stunned up, but then Excess Vampire will do the work with a false promise. Kezcute got there in time. Now GPK and Excess Vampire, they thought they had themselves this kill. Support will arrive in the form of Shashlo, but who's he going to go on? Ursha gets the fissure off, but there's nothing else to come from. The E-Blade pop is there, but it only ends up killing off Hyde. Dream has to have a big play. Troll Warlord too deep, going for the whirling axes, and then finishes the job. And looks like GPK will be able to pick up as well. FBZ, the TP out. Has someone got themselves a stun? No, they don't. So, nope. That's where it ends. A 2-for-1 trade-off. The big blink from the ES.
Yep.
Trying to pay off, but it's hard.
The problem is there's just not enough damage on the side of Boom, especially when the Lina has all of his sucked away. He gets the full spell combo off on GPK. Yeah, you get him low, but he has a BKB. You're just never going to be able to catch up to him, even with the ulti pop from Troll to try and pump the damage. There's a Chen behind him as well. Pops the heal, pops the mech. There's just nothing you're really going to be able to do here to take him out under that spell immunity cover. And also the Centaur ulti used while the Lina was stunned, just kind of reflex like, ah, shit, my core's in trouble, let me help him out, but alas.
He was too far away. Like, he was trying to get back in range so he can get the blink, but because they didn't see the gang coming, he was moving further to the east. So Stampede was a repositioner. Roshan starting up now from Gambit. And Boom have no real way to contest this or even know it, so what do? Send Centaur to the bottom lane, push the tier 2. But they won't get it in time. There's not enough momentum. So that's exactly what like the question was for Gambit. Like, can they, with the next initiation, now that Centaur has the Blink Dagger, like, who's going to make the best of their initiation? And it definitely turned out to be Gambit.
It just, I feel like it's another thing that we continuously repeat is when you have a core like a Razor, a Bristle, Alchemist, what have you, it's so much easier to play the game because somebody can just run in, you acquire vision, you're able to mess with the enemy cores, they have to be afraid of you, not the reverse, and then your supports and your other cores are free to identify the key targets, right? Shaker's not going to feel pressure, Morphling can dive into the backlines, both of these cores are just going to go full Divide, right? And then Bat's like, oh, hey, I got a nice lasso now. And your Shaker and Chen can routinely find supports if they would like, control the troll, whatever they really want. E-Blade up on the Morph, he's got Aegis, BKB next item.
Shashlo has the smoke break, a blink forward, the fissure does not lock in high, but it won't matter. A blink lasso, not exactly the target the Gambit was searching for. But at the same time, Boom was smoking themselves, looking for a fight on the top lane.
Yep. Also, man, I love the creeps FNG's got. The 3 that I would have selected as well. You've got the Swiftness Aura from the Hellbear, the Wolf creep, and the Ice Ogre. So Chen, by walking around, represents how much healing? Yeah, represents 525 heal, plus the increase if you're nearby. 15 attack speed, 30% bonus damage, and Lich Armor. This is pretty good for a hero. You're like 2 heroes in 1, effectively, so long as you micro efficiently. And I expect that FNG, he's been around the block a few times. I think he knows what he's doing.
Makoto, that's a good setup on top lane. Shashlo, he just TP'd in underneath the tier 1 tower. Kezcute, they have enough damage to bring down the Bat Rider. He TP'd to the front end of the tower, and now, well, there will be a rebuttal.
Hi, Dreamasoul.
Yeah, Gambit hunting inside the Dire jungle. It's the Observer Ward just gets down. Like, Dreamasoul's like, we need wards, yes. Should have worked out there was that Observer Ward being placed down if Gambit go for Roshan.
And this is looking good for Gambit.
Keep
this is why you pick the Morph into the Troll.
He's going to Glimmer Cape and then begin his TP. That's not the button he was searching for. He's got Glimmer up in 2 seconds time.
Oh my God.
And maybe with a False Promise and some extra heals, he's able to survive a little bit longer. Yep, into the Glimmer. All right, try and find him. Stampede also being used. That's down on the bottom lane. Because you've got Hyde trying to escape from GPK, but you also have to make that almost impossible to do.
That's cute. Oh,
he's still going. He's still going. And another stun. Oh, they got the dust. That's the second charge of dust they've had to commit to kill off this Oracle.
Just like, oh, you know what? I'm out of here.
It's like, I want to die, but you still can't make it work. Now he finally will.
I love how Dream just, as soon as Bat TV's like, you know what? I've had enough. I want to kill creeps. I'm wasting my time here. I'm trying to set records for the GPM. Oh, that's not GPK, yeah, it's true. GPK is from the jungle. He's gonna go for the Sanj and Yasha. I actually like this item. I used to hate it on Razor, but now that it gives like the healing amp as well with all the sustain on your team, plus the status resist, I've started to come around. I think this is quite nice. It's also so cheap. You already have the key items, why not just get a little quality of life?
I like this itemization as well from Lina, like getting into that Aghanim Scepter next.
In theory, it's nice, but the problem I have is he's going to get bursted, and he's still making himself the target. He effectively has to play with flawless positioning, or he just gets killed. Ags is nice. You can potentially kill a Morphling through his BKB. I just don't see Dream letting that happen. You see the Ags, you're like, okay, I'll play with 2,000 HP, then that's fine. Maybe I do a little less damage, but I'm not going to die to this.
Well, Dreamasoul's going to get the hell out of here. Trying to run towards the west.
Where is he going?
He's going to the graveyard.
I'm just saying, I'm not buying the Battle Fury into Sanj and Yasha build in this sort of game, Tobes.
It would make sense if he was able to keep... Actually, he's not even going the SMY. Like, he's actually just leaving it as the Yasha and going BKB Basher now.
Okay. He needs a BKB, right? But the problem is that you're still going to be playing against a Razor. He's talented for the static link damage still, as expected. He's just going to keep linking you. Nothing you can do to cleanse it. There's no Lotus. There's no Force Staff even up yet on this Boom squad, which is
hunting again.
Something they're going to need.
All for the 25-minute bounty rune. FBZ got that, but that's the only thing he'll claim.
Actually, yeah, he has the Force on center. I like that decision. A lot of off-laners, I think, should do this more often because you need a Force. You need one. You're playing against Razor, against Shaker. You got to be able to kite these guys. Somebody's got to grab one. Your supports don't have the luxury.
Morphling currently actually using himself, using Hyde to just thunder strike him down. He started farming up, but Oh, they break the Aegis Immortal, but there's not a secondary stun. And Chen's already ready to come to the bottom lane and try and fight this one out. Well, that Yule Scepter, a little bit of mistiming for the Fortune's End to connect, but it won't matter when Dreamer Cell can just kill off Dream. At 1500 HP, couldn't get anything off at the end of it all.
That was about the best you could possibly hope for happening. Kill Morph through Aegis without like any real even commitment.
Yep.
Wow.
And the only thing you technically lost was Disruptor, because
And Dreamer still got the kill.
Again. Yep. You're putting money into the Troll Warlord, speeding up the timing of the BKB.
All right. Makoto's going to have that Ag soon. It'll get easier and easier to kill his Morph. Once again, I will say Gambit, I just feel like they could be doing more, right?
I also love this from Dreamer Cell. I got a double damage rune. All right, I need objectives. Let's just take that mid-tier 1 tower. Wards up on the hillside. Earthshaker caught out by FBZ.
no
Makoto
Morph,
gets the
guys.
chain stun out. And Earthshaker, he goes down before he can do anything. Remember, you still got the double damage room. The Centaur Stampede away. Not going to work thanks to the Yule Scepter. Dreamer Cell can get some extra distance. 126 damage already stolen off from him. They're trying to keep up with the Razor. They hit him so hard, and they're going to find the kill. It's FBZ who takes this streak, and so much money. Even the Chen army, all those wonderful creeps you like, they're all lost.
God damn, Gambit, what is your obsession with taking fights without an ally? They did this in the last game. Your Morph is dead. He's dead. They plant high ground vision. This is like the worst scenario you could possibly be taking a fight, and they just straight up ask for it. Bat's TPing into the face.
Bat's actually trying to take a fight of his own right now.
He's alone. He's got.
Yeah, he is alone.
Get the hell out of there, Shacklow.
And yeah, I think FBZ finally got the telegrams. Like, okay, guys, like we should be fighting this one. Follow the Firefly. He's down deeper. TP is available. He'll begin it. Doesn't do the blink, and he has to blink now, but he has
they
no.
know now.
He's got BTs. He's got BTs available. So just use the TP scroll, then the BTs. So it's all okay.
BKB on Troll. This game has changed. And yeah, watch this. First off, Centaur's getting initiated on White. There's a high ground vision. 2, Centaur gets the kill on Razor. You don't really need a repeat to understand that Gambit just got smashed. And their gold lead that seemed so formidable that I almost was calling the game for them has dropped off a cliff, much like a roller coaster. And yeah, that is always kind of disheartening to see. As a CIS fan, as an unbiased caster, I just like good Dota.
Oh god, Centaur is going to be completely unkillable soon. They're going to give him Craggy, I believe. Actually, no, that will probably go to the Disruptor, right, so he can get his ulti off. Either way, they're getting their survivability. The Aghanim Scepter, so welcome to that pure 850 pop from the Lina. And they actually gave it to the Oracle. So Oracle is able to survive a lot longer now. So maybe that, does that E-Blade pop, is it still enough to one-hit the Oracle?
Oh, no.
He's too far behind now,
and
right?
now there's a Glimmer Cape, too, right? Plus, he'll be playing so far back because of the Aether Lens. You've really shot yourself in the foot here, Gambit. Maybe even the ankle, too. You're going to look to take a fight, but the vision's already
Blinks
there.
forward, gets 3-man on the fissure. Follow-up is coming. Centaur, they got him controlled for the moment. And maybe no false promise, they just break him free. The Centaur stomping over an excess vampire. He'll be able to kill him off because the Oracle did get popped, but he got everything he needed to off before this happened. The BKB starting to wear off. Troll still got his. The wall is up, and now GPK has to burn his too. And it's just trying to disengage with another 3-man fissure.
Wow.
Perfectly connecting. Dreamer Cell will fall. And Lina TPing out in the fog of war. They know the stun! And the Echo Slam X's Vampire didn't even realize he hit with the first one.
And
oh, and now we turn back the other way.
it's about time. Gambit finally took a fight. They were 5. They immediately initiate. Yeah, Centaur's not the right target, but it forces the Oracle ult. He's looking forwards. Boom. Dream pounces E-Blade W. He's dead immediately. And then it's so simple for them to do the exact same thing to Troll as the cooldowns come back up. Well, why couldn't you do this 10 minutes ago? Look how simple it is.
They just needed excess Vampire to lead the way. 2 3-man fissures really control up this fight.
100 to 0. That's insane. And this is what we're talking about. The reach advantage from Gambit is still incredibly strong if they look to utilize it.
Oh, they found another target too.
Like,
He's down here for the 30-minute runes. Like that's he managed to pick up one of them.
and once you get this Lincoln's on Morph, all of a sudden the Lina item build starts to look a bit weak because that you get BKB off, Lena can't actually do anything to get the ult on you through that BKB, even with that piercing ability, because there's no other form of a BKB single target spell. Looks like the Disruptor Ags may be what Boom need to change this game for the better for them, but he's still 3,000 away. Next Aegis will spawn in 40 seconds. I think you get that on Gambit, and hopefully Dream grabs it once again and uses it just a little bit better than last time. Maybe look to go high ground. And wow, Satanic soon on GPK as well.
Again. Excess Vampire feels very much like bait, but Yule Scepter up, Light Striker Ray. They just brought the Razor in thanks to the Chen. Starts the static link up. Everyone's got Yule Scepters. And now Dreamer Cell, Stampede and BKB away from the static link. I was also trying to get FBZ out of the reach of Dream and Shashlo, but that won't happen either.
Creep wave going mid, no Centaur, but Roshan is up in 9 seconds. I think Gambit probably have a timer as they head immediately towards it as it spawns. 2.
Yeah, Dream's gonna look 1 and hi.
Oh no!
Oh, bye.
No.
Oh wait, hi.
He's like, no. I get you Vampires keeping a timer. He's like, no, no, no. Trust me on this one. It's spawning.
It's
Dude,
so hard and fast, and with Lincoln Sphere protecting him too, he's got to feel very immortal.
You've already got 20% status resist on this. Like, GPK is straight up unkillable because you have the Chen plus heal aura. Now you have a Paladin sword as well for the regen amp. And you're going to have Satanic and SNY for like 40% status resist combined. And a cheese. So you cannot die. Morphling has an Aegis and a BKB Lincolns. This is what it comes when your cores have this innate survivability, it's so much easier to play the fights. And it'll help them go high ground, especially against these high-ranged backliners on the side of Boom. Almost a basher on Troll, but I just don't know if that's going to be relevant. Dreamacell here. It's Kez Cute that's really got to be cautious. I think he needs some more plus HP items, because right now he's still dead in Knee-Blade combo if his Glimmer's down.
Like, can I buy a bracer? Like, just a single bracer. Something. Full pipe now also purchased by the Chen. They really can tank through so much.
Yep, this is why Alan had a little freak out when he saw 19th pick Chen. It is pretty good. This hero should be first 2'd, I think, any game it is available. It's been busted for almost a decade now. And FNG is showing you why.
They're on the hunt. Shashlo takes to the skies. Troll, Warlord, Echo Slam instantly starts over on him. The lasso, they caught the Oracle in the back line. Shashlo's going to be able to get away as well after doing this. The false promise still comes in, but Dream has already popped Kezcute. Buybacks are coming thick and fast. Disruptor up in the area to get that Storm off instantly. There's no other choice unless he's just going to buy back and also fight. He is already down. A quick little glimmer, but it cannot stop Dream from killing off Makoto. And this is really the game.
Yeah.
That really is the game. They're dead for way too long. GG, well played. Gambit, after game 1 was really Boom outplaying them. This time they stuck to their timings and they just seemed to have the upper hand throughout this entire game. Once that quick point came, like it was always a build up and you're wondering, when's that first mark gonna happen? And then straight up, never went back.
I just want to see them find that opportunity earlier, Toby. It's the second game in a row they've got this big lead. And a second game in a row, they sit on it for way too long.
It took to 22 minutes. They had a small bump at the 29-minute mark, and then it's straight back their way.
But that was their first fight. They crushed it. It was the first time they actually took that big engage. They had all their core items up for some time. I look at Boom, and I think, well, what went wrong for them? A Battle Fury troll rush when your mid player is suffering? It just, you're on the back foot. Boom, you guys just kind of crushed game 1 on the backs of your aggression. You're axing at 25 minutes. I want to see you play to this. It just really feels like in this tournament, in this meta, the squad that's looking to press is the one that's going to have the edge. You got to be making moves. And if you're not willing to do that, you're at the mercy of your enemy. And you're hoping they make mistakes instead of playing a win. That's also the mentality just to watch of a team like Boom. Like you're here at the minor. Obviously, you're going up against, for me, like what was one of the favorites. Like Gambit for me is still one of the favorites. After game 1, they looked like they shouldn't be a favorite. And looked like Boom was just like completely just on a whole nother level. But Gambit have woken up. They came back for game 2, or maybe Boom need to just reevaluate where their mind is at. Coming out of the hype, they had to be like, they were smiling, they were giggling through the draft of game 2, like they Oracle trolled, and like, ha ha ha. Now, sense of reality has to kick back in again. I like the Oracle troll, but at the same time, it just like, plays into the Razor, right? It's a cute combo. I like it. It's a really nice complement. It counters the bat, but just didn't. Again, you know what it comes down to? We say all this. He bought a Battle Fury, Toby. If he goes for fighting items, they kill this morph a couple more times. Maybe this is different. It's hard to evaluate because we're just not sure. They didn't get what they wanted out of the pick. You get it.
Summary of everything we just said. Fight, fight, fight in game 3.
is well and truly over. XS Vampire ready to finish it off with a good old slam. He'll back off a little bit to heal up, but look at how tanky these heroes are. Oh, boom.
It's a dream Morphling game in every sense of the word as the talented young CIS carry combines with GPK's Razor to go 19-2-14. Gambit roar back in the series, and we will have a Game 3 winner. Lizard, I think all three of us were pretty confident in that Gambit draft after it happened, and they were able to execute, pull out that win. What do you think the big factor was?
One of the biggest factors is the Razor plus the Shaker dominating that mid lane, completely crushing it. Another big factor is Lina. You want to say something more about that, perhaps?
Well, let's just go to the game plan, you know. They were second pick. They had the last pick, but they opted to pick their win condition early.
Yeah.
But he couldn't really become a win condition because there's the Razor against the Troll.
Here we go.
Then,
This is what you saw about the mid lane, and how many times did you see this happen? Even after the first Fisher was executed.
I mean, this was also part of like the planning thing because they had the option to pick the Shaker first, but they chose to go for the Disruptor on a position 4.
Yeah, their two supports are also quite questionable. So many times in this tournament we have seen these two squishy.
This game is
Position.
about the supports.
Yeah.
This game is literally a good
completely
example
agree.
about the supports. What the supports are doing on both teams, and that was the biggest difference
You
maker.
need some Shaker, you need some Tiny, you need some Nyx, you need something to go in the front, make things happen.
I mean, while I agree with that as a general principle, and I think that's a big story of the match, I also think neither
Alan,
of these two supports can
Alan,
play
it's,
against Chen.
it's not that Disruptor is a bad position for, but it doesn't give you as many
Neither
options.
Oracle or Disruptor can play against Chen at any point.
No,
it's just so hard.
If you remember when Disruptor was picked a lot on that position 4, teams tend to forget that Treant was super popular back then.
But,
and usually he
but
was the
also,
position
I
5.
think it's not fair to say that they are really bad against Chen because the Chen was the overall. Well, he was the what,
He was the overall last pick. Fair.
21st pick.
And-
that was the 21st pick.
And
so
they,
didn't
did have Lina at least. They did have some wave clear versus him, so it's not completely.
But it was the
horrible versus
laning
Shen
phase
overall.
that was difficult for them.
Right.
But at the same time, the Morphling didn't really get like as good of a game as I was expecting.
I don't think you care about that too much, right? Like that's
In
something
what
that-
in what sense though? Like the Morphling had a relatively free lane. I mean, he struggled a little bit on the Centaur at the very beginning, but at no point in this game did Morph feel pressured. I mean, he died one time, and that was kind of a throwy death on the dire side of the map.
And the other thing is he's the strongest hero in the game. Like
Yes.
he's like not afraid if the game goes long.
But look at the Razor, man. Satanic SNY BKBUs.
Okay,
like, this is that
maybe
Razor
the
that you-
maybe the Razor was the
GPK,
strongest
man.
hero. not the
You're
Morphling.
pretty much afraid of this Razor just as much as you are of that Morphling.
No, and it's interesting, right? Because it was Makoto that showed us last night in the nightcap that Razor could be a game-changing hero. He could be a win
The
conditioning
thing
hero.
about this Razor and that Razor is, I think it was much easier for that Razor back then. The whole team was performing really well. I'm not saying
True,
that Gambit
true.
weren't in this game, but GPK did a whole
Yeah,
lot.
but this is the issue with the open with a Troll. Troll plus what, Oracle, first 2. And they just 10-pick the Razor. It was just an easy Razor pick after that, and he counters your Troll. And they weren't really able to come up with a solution that, the Troll, since the Troll cannot be the win condition, can we actually adjust around it? They
And
couldn't really find a good solution around
You
it.
see that reflected in these numbers, right? That I realize Oracle is kind of a KSing 5-position hero anyway, but when it's the 5-position Oracle that leads the team in kills, doubling up your carry position Troll, that's...
He had a couple of situations which he didn't necessarily have to take the kills, but he did.
True.
But it's what an Oracle does, so we give him a pass. Mikoto, however, he did... Obviously, the laning stage was really difficult for him. He did recover fairly well with the creeps that were stacked for him. And later on in the game, it looked like he's actually making Lina work. He did
I
a
don't know,
couple
man.
of good Laguna Blades. He did 13k hero damage. Not amazing, but overall, I think it's the hero that definitely is the problem. It isn't Mikoto.
If you look at the stats from this game, Gambit, Boom had precisely 2 minutes of hope because the stats in this game, the net worth and XP graph, they are exponential growth until those 2 deaths on Morphling. Exponential growth until 26 minutes, those 2 deaths on Morphling and Razor, there's a dip, and it looks like Boom may be back in it. But if that doesn't happen, the 2 big cores finish without a death, and the game is just never close at any point.
Yep.
I think this is. I just think this is a draft win.
Yeah, Boom had a lot of issues to deal with. Too many issues in the game. And not saying that they had a really bad game. I think they played reasonably.
I agree.
They didn't really play horrible. It was just very difficult for them to deal with a lot of issues in the game at once.
No, I think you and I are ultimately saying the same thing because I feel like this Boom squad, you were telling me this since day one of the tournament winter, that they can play with anybody here talent-wise, but they got to make sure that their strategy and their drafting makes sense. And I don't think it happened in that game.
They need help with the preparation work. I say this time and time again. Everyone here has an extra person, and they don't, and it's showing right now.
Yep. So what do you think they do in Game 3? Because this is the kind of thing, if they can get through the draft, you know, we said 60-40 in Game 1, and they did pull out the victory. If they can get through the draft at relatively even footing.
Make sure that you pick your strategy, your comfort zone. Don't try to counter. They just try to do exactly that. They try to finish off their draft with that.
Void Spirit.
They try to finish it off with that Lina, which on paper is an amazing pick here. You're playing versus Morphling and Razor. On mid lane, you should be fine. On later on in the game, you have that burst damage for the Morphling, and he did manage to use it a couple of times, but you're playing versus heroes that eventually do win the game.
Think about it. If Lina is your best pick, given the situation, something is not very good for you.
I think you have to think, in the draft, I think you have to think a little bit more about Hyde. Because at some point in the game, you are going to need Hyde to be able to bring to a fight what Excess Vampire you know is going to bring for Gambit.
I mean, it's something Gambit really adjusted in the second game.
Yeah, look at Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1 was StarLadder, the position 4, couldn't do as much as the opponent. And this game, the Disruptor against the Earthshaker, who did more? Obviously, the Earthshaker.
Yeah, and I think that's going to, and the way that the meta has gone in this tournament, I think that's going to happen in 9 out of 10 drafts. You know, the big thing also is that how many times in a Dota 2 tournament, right, you talk about event metas, a hero is so dominant in the first couple days, like Chen looked like for a couple teams, and we kind of forget about it, and it shows back up.
Remember the bans, so Nyx and Clockwork were both taken out in the first phase, like for the first 2 games. So the third best hero would be either the Shaker, or the Rubik. Those are the 4 best like position 4 heroes right now, in my opinion. They can move around, help the lane, gank.
I like the Rubik, but I'd still rather
she's a neutral hero.
I like the Rubik if you're Gambit, because Excess Vampire we know can play that hero really, really well. I have less confidence in Hyde's Rubik. I want him on something tanky.
We haven't seen Hyde's
Right,
Rubik,
exactly.
Right, Timbersaw and Shaker banned out by Boom. Can't blame them for the Shaker ban after that great performance by Excess Vampire. While Gambit, they ban out the highest win rate hero of the tournament, AA, and Nyx Assassin is very close nearby. So
yeah, and Boom is first pick this time. Last game, Boom was last pick the last game. Or who was last pick the first game again?
Last pick the first game.
What was the last pick? It was a TA. Oh yeah, it was a TA. Yeah, TA was last.
Yeah, it was Gambit was overall.
You mean the first game?
Yeah, the first game.
Yep. So Hero's still in the pool. The Clockwork is still in the pool. If Gambit won it, that's been a special for them. It was banned out in at least one of the first 2 games.
If
I mean, Boom could do Clock into Void Spirit if they want.
Yeah, if you don't pick Clockwork here, you have to. They just go with the Clock. You know they're gonna pick it if you don't.
So Gambit goes for Rubik +1.
Could be with Excess Vampire, sure.
First game it was what, Ricky StarLadder, right? Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen.
So do you think that they can take the Void Spirit themselves?
I don't think they want to. They can.
I don't know if GPK really has Void Spirit in his hero arsenal at the moment, but
I will say this: if you do see a Void Spirit on the board for Boom, they better ban the Ember, because I do think that was close for Gambit in Game 1.
Rubik plus Mars, maybe. They need to find some flexible hero, or maybe pick the 2 supports, which I know, Alan, you don't really like.
Well, I don't like it for a lot of other teams, but Gambit have the versatility in their core picks. All 3 cores play a very wide hero pool. I think the 2 support open takes a lot more value. They're going to first pick the Chen, and I strongly agree with it.
Chen is pretty good, obviously. It's been banned out for the majority of the series in the first day. The second day, it kind of got forgotten because of the meta and how it just shifts during the tournament. But it's definitely a very good pick for them. Once you get all those creeps, it's good versus Clockwork. He can't really line up that hook shot that easily. There's too many units spreading the battery assault. It's a strong laner. And now most likely you're thinking about heroes that aren't really troubled by Clockwork overall. You don't want to give a position for Clockwork a good game. Rubik and Chen. I love this combination. It's old school and...
Again, this would be the exception to the earlier point about two squishy in support lineups have gotten crushed in this tournament because Chen is effectively the way he plays. He's not squishy.
He's not really squishy, especially because of the creeps as well, right?
Nahas approving 2 supports.
This team and this pick, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There's the Void Spirit. I think that was a good call by you guys. And we're gonna test it though.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be a second phase Ember
You already
Spirit
know
for
my
Gambit.
allegiance this game. I see the clock and the Void Spirit. My allegiance is obvious right now.
Yeah, I think Boom will ban out Ricky perhaps now. We'll see. They already won with
Do you
Void
actually need to
Spirit.
ban out Puck for the Void Spirit?
Puck Ember, right? The reason why I'm saying Ricky is because of the PL ban as well on the side of Gambit.
Yeah.
That ban always comes out from them
When they're looking at Ricky, right?
But that ban comes out very often, regardless.
Yeah, it's also a lot about a lot of the teams that they play and scrim with against in the CIS region really value the PL highly as well.
I mean, these teams have scrimmed each other for a pretty long time because most of them
That's
were
true.
here in Kiev and they prepared for each other. And also, something that FNG said is that most of these teams aren't really pulling out anything different than they were during the scrims, during these days of preparation.
Both teams consider it. Both teams worried
the
about the
Naga
illusion
ban
heroes.
as well, yeah.
Well, it makes sense, right? We saw early in the season, one of the concerns for Gambit was Dream looked so much better on his illusion heroes, his Naga and PL, than anything else, and we were worried about his hero pool. And as the season's gone on, you've seen a lot more variety. You've seen the Ricky, and that's become less of a concern.
How about Morphling? Do you think it could be contested again this time?
Sure. I think it makes sense.
I mean, Boom could like pick it on
Darkseer
18.
ban. With the Clockwork, it's...
Good call on the Morphling.
But Gambit is the one picking it first, so they're not afraid of getting countered. The last time they were able to ban the OD going into the last phase, but this time...
This time OD isn't really a hero. You can't
Well, I think
avoid Spirit.
Oh yeah,
right?
because there's a voice. Yeah, that's
You
true.
can't really
That's
pick
true.
it.
And I think it has something to do with what you said during the previous one of you said this during the previous draft, that they are comfortable running Morphling in either the mid or the side lane roles. And that means that it's a lot less easy to pick a laning counter against him.
Okay, so for Boom, heroes that are good against Morph, supports. I remember Lion. Lion is one of the better
Shadow
ones.
Shaman.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman
Skyrat
too.
as well. You would have the Skyrat plus Clock combo, but it's not really played that often.
As a pose 5, probably not so
Yeah.
suitable because they already have the Clockwork. Unless they're...
I am for the record on board with the Skywrath call. Even pause 5.
If they do Skyrath, it means Clockwork is promoted to the off lane.
No.
not
It
necessarily.
can be a 5
Okay,
as
well,
well.
all right.
It's
There's
not
your
fire.
other high. There's your other high damage support.
High damage, but
But
no silence.
is
that they
he
need.
actually that good against Morphling?
Yeah.
I mean, he can secure the lane, sure. But I don't think that he's one of the better supports against Morphling.
But look, this Clockwork still could be your offlane. That's still a possibility, even though I wouldn't like it that much. I think position 4 is better.
I think an underrated aspect of playing against Morphling is you want your supports with some kind of wave clear, and that's potentially one of Clockwork's weaknesses. Although he does have Rocket.
Centaur, neutral hero.
Yeah.
It provides them with a good team fight composition with a tank, a hero that buys all the team items, and you stampede.
You know-
And it's very good killing with Rubik.
One thing that I'm very curious about is they're saving this last pick for their mid, even though pretty much they should know that Void Spirit is the mid laner for Boom.
But sometimes it's about like getting the overall strongest hero. You want to see every single pick before you decide. Sure, you can
agree with
decide that
but,
earlier.
But why, wouldn't you rather counter the Void Spirit in the laning stage at least? And that Ember is still an option for them. It
I
still
think
looks good.
it's not wrong to do either one. It depends on your player. You know what do they want to do and how your team functions as a whole.
So
I'm just saying it's
There you
giving
go.
it's giving Boom a couple of extra bans to ban out the mid from Gambit, to ban out GPK Slark. Yeah, there you go.
I was going to talk about this.
Look-
We talked about the Slark
Look,
versus Centaur matchup in the last draft.
Nahaz, yeah, it's about Slark versus Centaur. It's about Slark versus Morphling. But I think they're again in that same situation. They need to address Morphling. But there aren't too many good heroes to do that. They tried with the Lina, now they're gonna try with Slark. And this matchup,
I don't know that Slark is a direct counter to Morphling in this situation. I think Slark is more. This is a hero that we know is going to have a good laning matchup. It's going to match up well against the opposing core as the game goes on. I think this is more what you called for in that. Let's do your own thing, play something you're comfortable with, rather than trying to counterpick.
I'm not sure it is.
Okay.
I'm not sure it is really. We'll see how this Slark fares for Boom.
You know, to be fair,
so many times I have seen this Slark picked into Morphling because it's one of those heroes that does well versus him later on. And what happens? Morphling gets an E-Blade, destroys your supports in 2 seconds, while Slark is running around trying to get essence shifts.
To be fair, the stats back up what you're saying. They only have one Slark game in the last 2 patches, and it was a loss.
That's why you have to make sure you pressure the morphing. You know, like you have to pick like a good laner against the Chen morph so you can slow his progression down. And maybe buy some team items, the pipe, so you can help the supports.
You need to be very active on the map after the laning stage if you're Boom. That's how I feel, and you need to continuously fight and stack up those essence shifts, charges before Morphling hits his timing. Or just completely obliterate Centaur in the laning stage.
Yes.
That's also something that I have seen done by Slarks. Also something that could backfire. If you remember that Zai game in which he had like 0-8. Was it the Major, I'm not sure, or Mad Moon? 0-8 on Centaur still comes back later on because of the Morphling or the hard carry, and they win versus Slark.
So let me ask you guys this. Let's assume, because they only have one Clockwork game in the last 2 patches, and that was on Hyde.
And one Slark game.
Let's ask, if this is a support Clockwork, is there an offlaner in the pool that is that laning counter to the Morphling that can really pressure the Morph in lane?
It has to be a range hero though, like some Puck, Nature's Prophet, but those are heroes that are not really. I don't think he wants to play Puck. I think he can play Puck. Nature's Prophet, I'm not very sure. And Centaur could have been a good, you know, laning matchup against the Morph, but it's on the other side.
What about a Legion commander?
Decent. He's decent.
You know, Legion and Pango are their 2 most picked offlaners on the side.
But those 2 heroes don't really. I don't think you would give too much trouble to the Morph.
Okay,
This is
there's
just
Pango.
It's like a comfort hero for him.
Also,
So
Bloodseeker makes so much sense to ban it out versus the Slark and Pango. It's a good ban.
But do you think that they go back to the Ember Spirit here that they didn't pick in game 1?
We'll see if they try to go with that TA in game 1.
They could also go
out.
with Puck. Puck counters the Pango.
Puck does counter the Pango. Puck plays well against all those cores.
It looks like a good Puck game, I agree.
And they don't really need any more win condition because they have the Morphling.
Well, the big thing here is that they got the tower damage from the Morphling. They don't have to check that box.
Ember,
There's the
They go
Ember.
with the
I think
Ember.
this is. I think GPK Ember ruins this game.
I really don't think it mattered if they picked it 4th or 5th. I guess they wanted to take Centaur away from
Maybe,
Boom.
yeah, that's also possible.
But Ember was definitely set a long time coming.
I think Pango has a hard time in these fights because Pango's got to try and control both a Morph and an Ember in Rolling Thunder like that, and a Centaur who can Stampede.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. It's a really tough Pango game.
Wait for the granny to feed the cookies.
And what does the Pango allow you to do? It allows you to leave him alone in the laning stage, perhaps go pressure some other lanes with your supports. That's also an option for them.
They could have a kill lane, 3 heroes top with a slug, and let the Pango do his own device.
All right, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Who's got this? Who's got this series?
Well, I kind of want to change my allegiance, but I probably should not, because you will call me out on that after we go back. So
Don't worry about it, winner. Go for
I'll
it.
stick to Boom.
All right, baby. Lizard?
You know what? I'm actually going to go with Boom as well. SCA boys,
Wow.
I believe in them. I believe in the Void Spirit. 10K MMR, baby. Let's go.
All right, our panel goes with the Void Spirit, but let's see whether the SEA boys can actually bring it home. Tell us all about it. Toby, One, and Kyle.
It seems like MMR is more than just a number. 10K analysis and the 10K player. They believe the Boom ID can push this one forward. How about Gambit? How about Gambit, man? I want to look at that because I don't think to be leaning that way, but he want to put everyone else on the spot. What do you think, Kyle?
I feel like Ember Spirit, if there's anything that can deal with the Void Spirit, it seems to be the Ember. And it's one of GPK's best heroes. I think the itemization people have found for the hero is also one of the best combos in the game right now. And also, were you adding up the MMR of the entire panel to say they were 10K, or individually? What did you mean?
No, I think like Lizard already holds a majority of that anyway, right? Like it's like I think they actually get over 10K.
They're at least 8 altogether. That's what's important. Morph,
You should
Ember.
actually get 7k out of Winter, right? You get like 9k, 8k out of Lizard, and then you'd have to take into account like negative 4,000 from Allen, and then
Exactly.
you get 10k.
I will say I'm shocked that we see Chen again. There's a much better draft up against it because it was forced into the first phase, but it's a Morph Fling, it's an Ember Spirit, and you don't really have answers for either of these heroes.
Yeah,
there's
but
no real
you
stunts.
saw the heroes they wanted to take out instead. Like they wanted the ES out, they wanted the Bat Rider out. They were very problematic for Boom, to be sure. But they, as you say, they got better answers this time around. Like it's not going to be as easy just to push down the lane. Streamer Self waiting for Sharshlo to come in nice and close. He's gone for the S and shift to begin with. So with the extra support of Snapfire, they're still trying to start the early contest for the top rune.
Rubik Centaur, standard strong lane. You just reduce the enemy magic or right click, and eventually Centaur pops his retaliate, starts smacking Slark. It's pretty tough for the hero actually.
It's actually
should take a lot of pressure.
It's gonna be a 3-for-1 trade-off. Kezcute just strolled
shoot
himself through, and easy enough. Even nicer when the Clockwork doesn't have to level up cogs to trap out the ramp, and he can go the battery assault, more influence inside the lane. And maybe that's also another place where we've got to ask the question, so where does FNG have his influence in this game? Like, is this a lineup that Gambit actually have some places they can fight against? Are you looking at, no, he's not courier sniping.
I thought he was courier sniping top lane. I was like, I've never seen that before, but he actually just late TPs back to his top lane and immediately takes the Fade Bolt as Centaur Rubik look to press this Slark. Mid definitely the matchup to watch though.
Yeah. Makoto versus GPK, where we put a lot of pressure from both of these sides into having a good performance. And it's spirit on spirit, brother on brother.
I thought they were cousins.
Are they cousins? Removed cousins? Well, it's like Ember Spirit didn't even know about Void Spirit. So
No.
yeah, I guess not brothers. Like,
I mean, I don't know if they like each other. I know Ember definitely avoids of the other spirits when he can.
what are you going on here? You're
Never
clicking
mind.
your fingers and pointing at me like I meant to understand that.
The pun was so bad, it was so good you didn't get it. And that's the key. Anyway, Bottle Rush on GPK. I've not seen this super often, but makes sense because with these heroes, it feels like if you can bottle up that 2-minute rune, right, you're almost guaranteed to win this lane.
Man, FBZ, you're too deep underneath the tower.
Whoa.
He was luckily able to shift the aggro off as he swashbuckled back. It's like trying to get up in the face of a Morphling. That doesn't really work because he just agi morphs and then just heals up. Oh my god, Excess Vampire. Not a healthy man. The leech is going to be there, and Dreamer Cell loves it when this happens. First blood his way. One permanent agility has been gained.
Surprised that Shaklo didn't body block a bit better there. If he blocks the pounce, you're going to be just fine.
He also was holding his second point, only now just leveled up the hoof stomp.
Yeah. And they got the lane pushing. It's always big when you're playing in the safe lane. You get 2 first. It's a huge edge, as we can just see why right there. And a pull as well from Kezcute. This is nice. Mid lane. Clock's going to rotate over, but there's a ward there. And GPK will know what's up. He shouldn't go down.
Yeah. And with the creep wave coming underneath the tier 1 tower anyway, like Makoto's not going to get any huge advantage from this. GPK just backs up for a bit. Actually, what does he? He just body blocks. That's all he can do.
It's all about the lane control nowadays. Arcane Rune was bottled up by Makoto, as you said, so we'll have the edge for some time. And I think that that's something I'd like to see the Rubik do as well. These rune controls mid. Somebody has got to help out GPK at the 4-minute mark.
Hide? He just walks in front of Dream, gets into the trees, and is able to salve up. All in mid, Makoto.
doesn't really matter. You have so much spam potential. There's no issues. You can see him just constantly using his abilities thanks to the arcane. I always panic about the RCS. Don't miss.
Prepare for a lesson.
Rune up in 30 seconds. This is going to be big. I want to see Excess Vampire try and help out GPK in the mid lane, because whoever gets this next rune will start winning middle decisively.
Hyde is just having enough of this. There's a bloody harpy Stormcrafter.
Yeah.
Like just removing his life once again. This time he's got no salve, so the Clockwork's got the Walk of Shame back, and Pango will just have to solo the lane. But he can push it out pretty fast with Swashbuckle.
At least it's not a 400 mana pool like it used to be. That was insane.
Yeah. That's broken.
This Ghost, though, one of my favorite creeps to get on a Chen. You can just go gank with it. It's like a Scotty slow. And Rune was bottled top, no assistance, which means you now have a hasted Void, who should also be able to hit 6 first. So you got to be cautious if you're GPK.
It doesn't have the regeneration to stand the ground. Nope, hits the Remnant. Ember, come on back for a little bit, and Flame Guard must be burnt for protection levels.
I'd be curious to see who looks to make moves early on. Dream Cell pounces away up top. Already a double Wraith Band. Typically don't see Slarks do this very often, but I like the decision. You want to just invest in the laning phase, right? Because Rubik Centaur will inevitably pressure you out. You don't want to go for anything too greedy. Hello.
Man, that's actually such a dick thing to try and do. FPC swashbuckles Dream, so he can't get the last hit, and the Clockwork Rocket flies in to try and like contest the pull camp.
Are scanning.
I mean,
Just
being a
fun
nuisance.
little small things. As the 5-minute bounty runes all go out, and it will go
But look at this,
2-2.
Man, FNG has 18 CS. I know a lot of that's probably easy camp, but still. They're doing a very good job down bottom. 31-12 on the Morph, only 17-0.
He's almost got the
On
same
the
net
Pango.
worth. Like, okay, he's 200 short of the Pango. Cogs. And then it is just Mortimus gets his flying down. Oh, Stampede for the leash. It keeps the Centaur in position. Now the jump in as well for Pango. But the supporters arrive from Gambit. They've got all 5 players now here. And Morphle
that he was leaving, thus doesn't find what would have been a 100% free kill with the Orchid reveal. Instead, he just camps that area, waiting for nothing.
Well, the mid lane. Let's see how the defense goes. But wait, no, FBZ will arrive. Oh, he swashbuckles 1 creep. Okay, that's not enough. You need to clean up a lot more than this, including that Chen army, and that's what they're looking for right now. Cogs. Actually, he saw battery assault, not exactly what he was hoping for, but Hyde really trapped inside of his own Cogs with a cookie. Pushes him away. The Chen army is finally being removed.
You trade a lot for it, though, and notably...
Slark into the back lines. They're going to catch FNG. He's already used the mech, has Hand of God. May not, oh yeah, doesn't want to use that one. That's a little bit too big of an ability to just use to save your own life.
And this right there, I love the Slark against Chen. For that reason right there. You just find him, and all the counter initiation from Gambit's afraid, because if you're holding that pact, it's all cleansable. So nothing you can really do to save FNG once he gets jumped. And Void Spirit's still a huge threat to the Morph until the Mantis complete, along with really the rest of the team. Only Ember could escape with a self-Yules. And even then, if you get pounced mid, trouble. Nice rocket up. That was the ward spot used in the previous game, but Boom know what's up, and they rocket for vision to ensure it gets cleared out. Another benefit to the Slark, of course, and he's been given sentries by his teammate. That's another thing I love to see.
He's got that. Yeah, he's got a killer. He's got the diffusal blade. This is the Slark very much ready to fight, and if he doesn't get slowed down, that BKB time is going to be even better. Already with 4 permanent agility and 3 kills to his name.
Yeah. Spirit Vessel on the Pango. I love that decision too. You've got to buy one. We've talked about how much sustain this Chen provides. The Morphling obviously going to be trying to regen up when he gets targeted. This allows you to reduce that significantly. And Pango plus Snapfire is a hell of a deep push. They're just camping this mid tower. They spam their Q and the wave's dead immediately. You need this Chen army plus some more players if you actually want to be able to finish off this dire tier 1.
I don't know if I'm totally sold on this switch of items. The growth bow into the Void Spirit.
So the magic resist.
Yeah, but over Pupil's Gift.
It's more damage output on the spell combo. If you're hunting more, if it makes sense, but now that there's a Manta up, that's no longer really a possibility. So perhaps he'll change back.
I don't know if they see everything. Boom, bringing numbers towards the mid. BZ. He's getting a little bored.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's 6-2. Everyone, there's like a rule here. We've got a ceasefire. And the only time I've seen Boom cross into this area of the map is under the cover of smoke, as they are now. Pupils back in, to your point. Makoto listening.
You know, who was it? I think it was actually FBZ I bumped into. But in their second game against BA yesterday, it's like, yeah, we weren't in the right headspace for that game. Why? Because they were playing boring heroes. Middle lane, initiation starts off, FBZ, Stampede, swashbuckles down, and then gets cookied back up again into GPK. But it's the back lines where Clockwork initiated and just got popped out by the Morphling as well as the Rubik. These cogs just blocking the top ramp and Searing Chains, making it difficult for Boom to be able to escape. They're just trying to get back out again. Makoto will be able to do so. Both supports from Boom have fallen.
And it's this team fight of Gambit, man. A big part of it's the Chen. You effectively have like 600 plus healing on Gambit. You don't have any on Boom. And this is a big deal. These Clockwork cogs also seem somewhat anti-synergy with the Pango because he effectively just walls off his friend. I think he doesn't
bounce off it, right? Like he goes up against it and just keeps rubbing.
I mean, that sometimes is effective.
Slark found Ember Spirit. Quick little searing chains. That's a well-off target swashbuckle, and Ember will just remnant away to safety. He finishes up his Maelstrom as well, coming out in the Courier.
Gotta be leaning Gambit thus far. This Morphling approaching E-Blade already with the Manta. As you said, there's no real stuns on the side of Boom. Your weight of killing Morph is, at some point in theory, Slark's able to go toe-to-toe, but he's still a ways away.
And they're 3-man smoke ganking. They'll find Kez-Cute. They don't really, that's not the target they were hoping for. They were hoping for a core.
And man, what an item to pick up. Ember Spear with Dragon Scale. Just a bonus 48 damage to every target, or 54 rather. Because you slight and then proc the Fire Burn. Also some nice free armor against this physical damage.
Hyde is just making a break for the trees. He knows that Gambit want that tier 2 tower on top, and with the Chen, it's quite easy to claim it. Dreamer Cell's trying to get some kind of counter push on the bottom lane, but Radiant Fort up.
I don't know about that. If you're Gambit, you might even look to keep going.
They're getting attacked on their tier 1 and their tier 2, so Ember will come back, but he's fine. He'll always have a remnant to work with. But Dreamer Cell's not going to back off from this that hard. Actually, he will. He'll pounce away. And the mid lane Gambit have TP back to defend their mid tier 1.
Yeah, Gambit slowly but surely acquiring map control. I still cannot believe how slow-paced this game is. Very methodical from both sides, but you can't really blame Boom considering they want to play aggressive, but Gambit's walking around with a zoo in tow, and you're just not really able to contest if FNG's nearby with all this heal sustained.
Do Gambit have a lineup where they can at least force an engagement? I suppose Roshan would be the only critical thing that Boom would have to come out to stop. If they're losing towers, they're okay with this as long as they don't lose their high ground, their tier 3s. Because, what was it, I think Lizard was saying on the panel, in the late game, you're going to favor the slot.
Yeah.
You're going to favor him against Centaur, against Morph.
He just needs 4 or 5 items. It's at a point where he's got, Butterfly Scotty or something equally ridiculous, where things start to turn up for him, but you just don't out-farm, or rather out-fight in the mid-game against a hero like Morph, especially post-Manta. I expect with that E-Blade, they'll look to get frisky. Perhaps now, as you said, yep, let's get into Roach. They keep avoiding us. Let's just grab an Aegis or fight them.
Yeah, double damage is just the biggest enabler for this with Dream. And Slark will get his trade-off. This is the old-fashioned trade-off. Roshan for the Radiant tier 2 tower on bot. But Dreamer Cell's already beginning his own TP over. But Roshan's dead. They won't get there in time. You could throw Mortimer's Kiss in there. Clockwork gives the extra information, but they're still too far out of range. Morphling's taking it. The double damage room, they just weren't ready for that.
Shout out to Nahas, who's been beating the same drum for about heroes on Roshan and objectives. However, it is part of the game, and it does sort of force objectives, but it is kind of silly at times. You're like, oh, hey, we got the one rune that allows for this move to happen. Let's go do it. At the same time, we've all played card games before. Them's the breaks.
Uh-huh. Why do you have to do card games? I never
There's a lot of RNG.
I never played Artifact.
No such thing as a good poker player, Toby. Just a lucky one.
No such thing as Artifact. GP. Okay, but they want to fight. BKB on Slark. You want your ability to jump in and find a kill. But I suppose you can just try and take the tier 2 tower, but that's backdoor protected. Creep wave's coming, so that won't take much longer, but the mid lane, TP in from Pango. He's inside the trees, seconds coming in. Exodus Vampire's on the other side of those trees. Able to steal the little shredder. That is the worst thing that Rubik probably could have got from Snapfire.
And also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure I'm buying this Slark against Morph as this game continues. It's just because the Morph's gonna have so much support. All these auras, you can turn into the Slark, still stacks your own. It just...
But if he gets disarmed and these type of problems,
Disarmed by Panga, I guess? Oh, I don't know, it just feels like, click on Centaur, right? Look at Slark.
Centaur. He's going to jump in. I'm looking right there. Pick up, and now the disarm. Hookshot flies forward, but the Morphling jumps in. Dreamer still able to get the BKB off in time. He's not getting the extra life back. He is not triggering off the Shadow Dance. As the fight splits into two different parts, everyone trying to disengage out of this one, but Morphling looks for his own target. Ember Spirit jumping forward with a couple of remnants. The Cookie can't get hideaway to safety. He'll die inside of his own cogs to GPK's burn. And Pangolier caught by the stolen remnant. They're able to get the searing chains on Pango, but the Glimmer Cape protecting him inside the base. Swashbuckle still on cooldown. For all of this, for everything Gambit threw in, only Clock.
Aegis on Morph, this is looking pretty sick for Gambit. I just want to see them press this edge. They're ahead. They potentially have enough of a lead they could just straight up win this game. Tier 3 items coming out. I believe they've got enough for everybody to have one. Nope, they need to farm 2 more, so maybe just farm out some jungle camps, pick those up.
Yeah, there's 0 right now for Boom. Dreamer Cell's going to have to grab them all and send them back. That's not a bad one to get. Mindbreaker for the Slark. He still wants to keep that pressure on bottom lane. It's one of the big things for Boom. High ground defense just feels still so good. They've got so many ways where they can just clean the wave out. And if the Cogs can block the ramp side and Gambit can't get in, they could find themselves heavily separated, and Stampede won't save you in that scenario.
You need long fights as Boom. Slark's got to be in and out of this fight multiple times. Manta's got to be forced out like 2 or 3 Orchid usages.
Smoke is going to break. Dreamer Cell, quick pounce away, goes towards the left, and man, that Ember Spirit. Aghanim Scepter is up, he moves fast. Slark will just BKB TP out. It's the wisest thing to do. But it's still that 9-second BKB. They're starting to reduce in duration.
And we'll see how this plays out, but for now, Gambit, total control. How long on this Aegis? Another 30 seconds. So they're probably just not going to use it. Titan Sliver up on the Morph. That's excellent. Ooh, that was close.
Just about 0.2 seconds away. Slark pouncing forward, going to find the Chen. This is a nice little grab. Any kind of kill they can claim. The mech's already been triggered off, but they haven't finished the job just yet. Slark still wants to push forward and find something, but that's 4 heroes. Gambit always with the numbers.
And it's just easier for them, right? Like Clockwork, the support duo of Boom just feels kind of worthless right now. Their whole game is just, does Slark carry? And the hero's not going to do enough damage.
Jumps forward, Snapfire, tries to be protected.
He got the wave, though.
They have Dust, they had Sentries, and now Fortification comes in.
They brought back door down. The creeps got close enough, so they still have that 10 to 15 seconds to push this tower. And then the wave will get there in time for them to be able to continue. And oh my god, the damage.
That's a big silence over on Centaur. They couldn't instantly E-Blade themselves, pop themselves out while Slark starts the attack over on the Morphling. Trying to shift this damage as Clockwork. Hood shocks forward. Morphling pull back in by the rope, then push back by the Cog. He'll burn a lot of mana from this, but Clockwork, again, dying now out to Centaur. Feels every time he initiates, he ends up just trying to kill himself off the Cog, try and separate the battle too, but Makoto really trying to battle against Morphling. The E-Blade makes it impossible to continue the attack in, but now with a Remnant, Dream still trying to move away from the rest of Boom, but the BKB, they're both worn off now from Boom, and look at Gambit, re-engage back in. They know this is their time. Dreamer Cell knows it's time to get away. Waveform a little bit off target as this Rolling Thunder does cause a couple of bumps out. The Snapfire dead for 70 seconds. Clockwork once again trapped inside of his own Cog, surrounded by 4 heroes, but they want a core. They want the real hero kill, and they've found one as well. There's Pangolier. Dreamer Cell's doing everything he possibly can to stop this fight, but man, FBZ swashbuckles up. They get Searing Chain together and push back down again. It's just cookie stuns, it's hoof stomps, and it's 3 heroes down from Boom.
It's near flawless teamfight execution as well, Toby. That was sick. Kite the BKBs, immediately they re-engage. They force the tower, get the response they wanted. Boom gets baited, and yeah, you're targeting this Morph. Dream playing so elusively. GPK is a free game. How do you kill either one of these cores? They have such insane survivability. GPK with that Ags is just nigh unkillable, and he's just dancing with his opponents. Has that extra second on Searing Chains, too. It's a 4-second stun and an 8-second cooldown.
Oh, Makoto wants to jump in. They're going to work it with Dreamer Cell! He has to buy back. There's no other choice. Makoto is able to Astral step himself back into base. They're going to lose the melee.
in competitive matches, it really comes down to the team play, and the problem is that Morph is so easy to buff up into this ridiculous carry. I remember that game at the Major, we got an Apex rune and suddenly just slaughtered things with the DD. You just, well, no, not the, he got the rune and the, what's it called? The one that increases your max attribute, main attribute. Chat will tell me in a couple. Nothing doing for Boom. What plays have they tried to make, right? It was that play bottom where they ended up getting both supports killed inside their own cogs.
They'll have to
Since
go
then, it's just
they'll
splitting.
have to battle Roshan line. That's the only place they could really do it. Because if they get Nagus Immortal into Morphling, I don't think Gambit like lose anyone of value pushing in to take that bottom lane of Rax. GPK is playing with Makoto.
He's gonna have a Shiva's up soon just to provide so much vision, and Gambit like. Oh man, this Ags pickup seems like such a sick move. I'm surprised we don't see it more often, to be honest.
That Dire Observer Ward did scout out the fact that Gambit were grouping up, so I think the smoke was already called out.
Dire are scanning.
They definitely know the numbers are there, and yep, a quick little scan just for a little bit of confirmation. Full retreat for Boom. Good vision being planted down, ready for the attack through the bottom lane. And they found a target, and it's Hyde again. And I feel like this guy's just been the punching bag of Gambit. He's almost 50% of their kills. And Dream will easily take this tier 1 tower by himself. No backdoor protection for tier 1s. No fortification either.
And with his team behind him, you're just not going to be able to take him down.
They're waiting to go, though. Gonna try and, yeah, Observer up. Someone's gonna get rid of that Radiant Sentry too. That's a backup from Gambit. They're in a very, very strong position. 14,000 being the gold advantage as we get to watch this top fight once again.
It's just picture perfect. Look at this. Both BKBs popped. Ember out. Oh, BKB's down. Boom get caught just hesitating. They want to engage, but they've lost their ability to actually land anything on a target. And all of a sudden, Gambit's here. No problems. The 4 staffs on both Shacklow and Rubik just serving to make it even easier to kite. And you combine that with all the sustain.
Here's your
What do you
contest.
do?
FBZ rolling thundering into the pit. Roshan's at 4k HP.
Oh, now it's a
but
wall.
now they're all getting back out again. And melt the bounce forward from Slark. A quick force off away. Chen's able to get his distance. No real strong disarm, and Slark's in too deep. But the hook shot, backline's Clockwork, has picked up and thrown around. The Rubik's had a great time against Hyde. Still no one dead just yet, but Morphling's doing the best he can to try and catch up the Slark, who pounces himself up on top of a hill. Not where he wants to be. Same thing for Clockwork inside the river, with no way out and no buyback available, so they're going to lose that big vision advantage. Maybe Centaur too far up, but nah, you got a 4-staff available. Rubik, he can be the bigger one caught as Makoto trying to stay with it, but again, another 4-staff and the Stampede. Disengage after disengage. Mortimer's kids flying inside the pit, making life difficult. Dream at least has the Aegis to the Immortal as they wait for Dreamer Cell to pounce himself away from this fight. The Void Spirit got hunted down by the Ember.
You see Dreamer Cell get stuck up on that cliff, man. I know RTZ's been smurfing in Herald matches. I didn't think he was in this one, too. Unbelievable. There's just no way to fight into this team. They hook in, immediate lift out. There's just too much disengage. Morphling's got a BKB. No one, like, you just can't kill anybody, Topes. If you can't out team fight, you can't pick off, and you can't out scale. There's really just not much you can do to win the game. Look at this. Oh, let me morph slow. Let me summon him back in. Bring me my Greaves recipe. Bring me my Aether Lens recipe, his allies say. They go right for Megas.
You're seeing where Slark's moving because they don't have the vision on the hillside anymore. So Slark is trying to wrap around the back lines, at least get a support. I think he wants the Rubik, but he knows he's under vision. They just lost Kescube once again. And with the Rolling Thunder forward, FBZ now to hit pretty hard, and then Rubik will end up falling. So Dreamercell finally getting something of what he's searching for. A little couple of hits into Shashlo, and the disarm, making life a little harder, but it's also harder for the Slark. And Hyde trapped in his cogs of doom. 3 heroes down, and it really does feel pretty hard. Like, you get the Rubik, and that's what you're celebrating. That's not enough to celebrate, not at this point in the game. 35 minutes in, you're just gonna get megged. And Gambit will be disengaging to just to re-engage. They got the rooting over on the Pangolier, and he will not get away from this one safely. Makoto joins him as well, and GG is called. Gambit will be the first team to reach the winners bracket final here at the StarLadder ImbaTV Minor. A good performance in Game 2 and Game 3. They'll definitely want to forget Game 1, but showing the strength of this team to bounce back and just finish this series properly.
Oh, for sure. Impressive performance. They looked real shaky in that first game, but I'd argue they won all 3 if they had just went to play Dota at 15 instead of 20 minutes in that first game with their super farm TA. However, the Morph, very successful for them. I think that moving forwards into that winner bracket final, you got to think about banning at first phase. This team looks so comfortable with Dream on the hard hyper carry and GPK on the playmaker. I think I'd be terrified of giving them this combination of cores again.
And it feels like Gambit have a lot deeper pool than that. This roster has been around for a long time, broken up, come back together again, a couple of bumps along the road, but it's still a very strong squad, and I don't know if like just taking Morph out in the first phase is going to be enough for you. Like, you saw the ES and the Batrider banned out here at the start of Game 3 because you realize that Game 2, like they would say it'll be so good with it. But I still, before we start singing all the praises of Gambit, want to give massive props to Boom. They still have another run. This is not an elimination game. They'll drop down to the lower bracket round 1. It'll be a tough matchup because they play against the loser of Alliance and Asta.
So yeah, I think in their match against Alliance, they're going to have to like just go back, or their match against the loser.
I'm sorry. Is this scripted?
I'm just kidding. I will say this team has impressed. They've been getting progressively better throughout the tournament, but so far they're that half tier still below the rest of the field, and they're going to have to turn up. I want to see them tweak their drafts just a little bit. I don't like the Slarks and the Trolls for Dreamacell. I really don't. I think that I'd much rather see them on an Illusion core or something that can
like that.
Apply aggressive pressure, become just annoying, and be the guy that actually plays the hard lane. That's when they look best. And I'm not buying the, I'm just going to like farm up, get items, and eventually I'll be relevant like in the Troll game. Here, you also had the Void Spirit going for an Orchid. Makoto in that game that they won with it actually went for the Crystallis into the Yules build. Maybe that would have been better here. Who knows? But again, the real key perhaps, maybe Nahaz was right after all.
No.
Chen.
No.
Chen, 2 games in a row, 2 wins in a row.
No.
What are you doing? They didn't tell us to throw.
That's
just so you know,
that's our transition.
no,
we
it's not the transition.
messing with them.
The way you do this, guys, folks at home, just so you understand what Toby did wrong there, is we have to wait for production to tell us when to throw. You can't just stop talking and stare at the camera and
you
expect
don't hear
people
what's
to know
in
what's
my
up.
ear.
Huh?
You don't know what's in my ear.
Yes, I do. I hear what you hear.
Oh, I hear other things. Anyway, that's terrific. That is smooth transition.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm standing here next to Gambit team captain, FNG. Congratulations with making it into top 3. You've dominated game 2 and 3 with your Chen. How did it feel? What went with this hero? Because it's not really popular right now, no?
Well, people sometimes not punishing Chen. They're just picking greedy heroes, and basically you just get heal in team fight, which is pretty good. You have a good lane because your carry hero is strong, so it's pretty good hero.
Even though you make like really good show up in the group stage, you've had some problems in the first game. What happened? Like cold feet or what happened?
Well, I would say our draft was kind of bad. It was playable, but we made few mistakes in team fights and the way how we played them up, and they punished us. They win, they deserved it, and pretty much it.
It was quite a tough month for Gambit team because of the benching GPK. Now he's coming back. Do you feel that the atmosphere of the team is better than it was before, or how is it going right now with you?
To be honest, it's still the same because, you know, we got used to GPK already before, so nothing really changed. We just trolling him a lot, and that's it.
The next matchup will be Alliance versus Aster. You already won against Alliance. What do you think about Aster? Do you think you will meet them in the winner finals?
Well, I feel like Alliance just need to work on their draft and their preparation before the match, and they have good chances to beat Aster. But I would say Aster will win, but it will not be easy. At least it shouldn't be easy.
The last question, last year you played here in Kyiv Kippersport Arena against Chinese team in finals. You've got stumped 3-0. Do you think that this time it will be better for Gambit here?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much, FNG, and back to you guys.
Thank you very much indeed. A nice interview there with Captain FNG. Has his squad riding the ship in games 2 and 3 after dropping game 1, and they will be moving on to the upper bracket finals, a guaranteed top 3 finish here at the Minor. That game 3, close fought series, but sometimes you go to a Dota 2 tournament and a League of Legends games break out. Only 25